the former Associated Press correspondent who covered the Clintons, who covered President Obama, and he's definitely left center, but he's a fair guy, and he's saying that even if you agree with the deal, and you think it was a good deal, this president doesn't seem to have the capacity to keep the deal, to enforce it, rather. And of course, Dr. Krauthammer, center right, saying that the president is hell-bent, or I'm sorry, the Iranians are hell-bent on getting the bomb. And again, this president doesn't seem to be to have the vision or the courage to stop Iran. This is what's so dangerous, and this is what my novel, The First Hostage, is about, which is what happens, what could happen if a president thinks he understands the threats that we face from radical and apocalyptic Islam, but he doesn't. And he is blindsided by an evil he does not understand. And unfortunately, we've got one more year of President Obama leading us down such a dangerous path. But two frontrunners, Secretary Clinton and Donald Trump, neither of them have demonstrated any understanding, serious understanding of radical Islam or apocalyptic Islam. Secretary Clinton supports President Obama's insane deal with Iran. Mm-hmm. Now, the reason the deal is insane is not because of the text. I've read the full text of the agreement. If you were making it with Denmark or the Philippines or Brazil, it's an arms control agreement. It's fine. But the question is, who are you signing the deal with? And the Iranian leadership has said repeatedly that it wants to annihilate the United States of America and Israel.
And Israel, right.
It is building long-range ballistic missiles already in defiance of the very agreements that we just signed and other UN Security Council agreements. And if you study the end times theology that animates the Iranian leadership, you realize that, and I've studied it in depth, they want to bring about the end of the world as we know it by committing genocide against Jews and Christians, particularly annihilating the United States, so that they can hasten or accelerate the coming of their so-called Messiah, known as the Mahdi, or the 12th Imam. If you understand that about them, you understand why this deal is insane, because it puts Iran on two pathways to nuclear weapons. Number one, if they cheat on this deal, they'll get nuclear weapons. And number two, if they don't cheat, they just wait for 10 years, then all the sanctions and restrictions are removed, and they can build hundreds of nuclear weapons, and we would have nothing to say about it.
Exactly. Well, Joel, they're on the verge of getting, billions of dollars here very shortly, and then we see what happened in North Korea. Reports are that the tentacles of Iran lead to North Korea, and we've got this report of, whether or not it's an H-bomb, an atomic bomb that they detonated. The scientists are still trying to, discern exactly what they unleashed here. But of course, North Korea is claiming an H-bomb.
That's right. Well, that's a different novel that I wrote. That was called Dead Heat. It came out in 2008 about North Korea building an arsenal of nuclear weapons and firing 4 of them off of container ships at 4 different cities in the United States all at once during a presidential campaign year. Let's pray that doesn't happen. But that was a different novel. Look, the world is evil, and darkness is falling, Bill. And unfortunately, under President Obama's watch, the forces of freedom are in retreat. And this is going to be an incredibly dangerous year because you've got Vladimir Putin seeing that the U.S. is on retreat, so he's moving into Syria. Iran sees America in retreat, so it has allowed people to attack, storm, burn down the Saudi embassy in Tehran. Issue after issue, the North Koreans testing a hydrogen bomb. I mean, this is a very dangerous world, made all the more dangerous by a president who doesn't know what he's doing.
And you haven't even mentioned China.
Choose someone who does know what he or she is doing to replace him.
Exactly. Well, and I've said that experience defines preference. In this last 8 years, we've got plenty of information in terms of defining preference.